The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I got some hope. Hope. Yeah, it happened. It's as if people were listening to the show and the universe wanted to reward me and show it.
Oh.
I was talking to a old friend, hadn't seen them in quite some time. And, oh, you got kids? Oh, I got kids. Where are you living? Job? All that stuff. They were asking about ages. Oh, mine are 3 and 5. Great age, blah, blah. And I state, it's a wonderful time. I'm having so much fun. You know, you can see their personality. They're kind of taking care of themselves more. I'm excited. It's like, this is a great age. And then I state, I sometimes worry this will be as good as it gets.
You peaked. That's it. It's just go downhill.
But per our conversation in one of the previous episodes, the problem is parents are just so want to put other parents down. Oh, it never gets easy. It's always hard. And by saying that, it's like, I'm worried it never, like I've peaked and I'm like, this will be the best. And I placed a T-ball just right on top for them to slam out of the park and shut me down. But they didn't. She turns to me and she says, like, oh, are you kidding? Like, wait till 6 through 12. It's amazing. It's so much fun. And they do even more than themselves, even more personality. If you travel, like, they carry their own little bags. Like, there's so many wonderful things. Like, you're going to love it. And like, I didn't say anything back. I was just shocked. I'm like, you sure you don't want to, like, crush me a little bit and talk about how hard it is for you right now? It's wonderful. Like, have you ever even had a parent, like, calm you and say don't worry about it, or has it always been our previous comment of always getting put down?
Absolutely not, unless it's like family where they're like, yeah, let's share our horror stories and, you know, go into it a little bit. But no, it's always, it could take off like that conversation, but then you're waiting for the just joking, get ready,
but
this sucks. But no, that's good to hear. That's a positive news. I'm glad we put it out there and you received back positive news.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, I was shocked. The conversation practically ended. I was just like, oh my God, it happened. You're telling me it's going to be okay?
Perfect.
So I want to give a shout out to a game that I've been diving back into a lot recently. Not a new game. I've rediscovered it because it's on the Game Pass, which kind of feels like it'll be my theme from here on out.
It does seem like it.
I found it on Game Pass because Game Pass is free, so you get a lot of games. But I'm speaking about Horizon 4.
Okay.
So Horizon 4, just awesome. Now, really quick, on the video stream of this, I'm going to be showing some gameplay of it, which we commonly do as we record this live or on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
In finding good video for the show, and I think this also becomes a dad tip, if you want to find a YouTube stream of gameplay without that millennial annoying commentary in the corner, all you got to do is search for the game you want, no commentary.
Right. Unless it's us. Then you want the commentary.
We're hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
But these others. So. No, but sometimes you don't want that Minecraft kid just screaming in the corner as he gets hit by a creeper. So, you know, you put whatever game, play through, no commentary, and you'll find all these streams specifically done.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm going to put up this, it's almost Bob Ross like, okay, I'm just going to put up this little gameplay, and we're just going to let it speak for itself. Here's
That's right.
Here's a little turn. Here's a little turn. Oops, hit a tree. Not a problem.
It's very calming. I think we should start a whole channel devoted to that voice, that aspect.
Every episode, I think we find 2 or 3 more streams to start. But
yeah.
So Horizon 4, gorgeous game, ton of fun, and they've really crafted. The reason why I would suggest it is they've really crafted a sandbox, a true sandbox in the sense as far as taking your little dinky toys into a literal sandbox and just clowning around, smashing things through, having a blast. Very arcadey.
Okay.
So not completely, like cars kind of behave in different ways. Like if you have something larger, we're seeing a gameplay of a truck, like it behaves like a truck. It's not Burnout or anything like that. But at the same time, as you'll be able to smash through a lot of trees. You'll be able to like go through rock hedges, that type of thing. So it doesn't punish you too badly.
Okay.
You do not need the DLC to play it. Like it's not really required. It is very generous in its cars. Like just playing the game, never doing any of the DLC or purchasing, you get a lot of cars, a lot of download, a lot of customization. On the video, we have a man in a chicken suit which the person's decided
Yeah, I
to
was about to say.
dress up their avatar. So
I want the chicken suit. How do I get that?
yeah. How's this to do with racing? So the events are a lot of fun. They have big bombastic events too. So sometimes you're taking a sports car trying to go as fast as possible through streets. Other times you're taking a off-road vehicle, slamming through forests and jumping off. They'll have these signature events where you're maybe racing as a hovercraft, or you have like 20 dirt bikes zipping around you. Another one is you race a jet at one point. So they have these like big bombastic kind of fun things where they're not taking themselves too seriously, and it's all very arcadey fun, kind of flippant in a great way.
Okay.
And the last thing I'll say that hopefully will hook anybody else too is that the rewind feature.
Oh, okay.
So now you go into this turn. Well, sorry, first let me say, do you know in racing games how there's the dad move where everybody else is braking reasonably and you just smash into them and use their bodies as your brake?
Isn't that how you play? That's not how you're supposed to do it? I don't know.
I'm just saying, that works in this game, so that's how you know this is the right type of driving game for you or not. If that's your move, instead of slowing down, you just slam into everybody into the turn. But what I was going to say, there's a rewind feature. So you come up on a turn, this is like a minute-long race, maybe a 2-minute-long race. You don't want to have to redo it again. You blow this turn, and you just go like flying off the side.
Right.
You press the top button, and it just starts to rewind the entire race. Everybody goes back in time.
Oh, perfect.
And you can retake it. And then you mess up it again, you rewind, you can retake it. And just keep on going until you hit the perfect turn.
Wow.
That is the most dad-friendly racing feature I have ever seen.
I was about to say, yeah, anything that allows you to rewind and redo your mistakes. Again, like we teach our kids, we make a mistake, try again. This is perfect without retrying the entire race. Retry the little section. That's perfect.
I can especially speak to it on the Xbox Series S and the Series X. The load times are absurd.
Okay.
Like, there's just no load time. Like, there's utterly no time to stop and even think. Like, it's just, hey, I want to change my car. It's like, okay, here you go.
Oh, perfect.
And you're racing again. Like, nothing ever stops. So just want to put it out there. If you have Game Pass, if you have the Xbox or, a decently powered PC and you want to look into it, this is a highly dad-friendly racing title to check out.
I will try to pick it out when I eventually get Game Pass at some point. I'm sure you've sold it enough to me and our viewers that I will probably get Horizon for at some point. But it looks great. Dad recommendation. So can you recall, like, when's the last time you played a racing game? I don't know how much you're into them. Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo Sport.
Gran Turismo.
Which is like, I don't know, at the start of PlayStation 4 maybe. It's been so long, Trevor. I don't know. Like, that's not entirely true. I guess Dirt Rally in VR, which is insane.
Okay.
But yeah, you can't really play those with kids because they would get super frustrated. It's not like a kid-friendly game, so.
And I guess we could say Mario Kart, but it's sort of a different league.
Yeah.
It's kart racing and racing is kind of two different things, but you're halfway there.
That's right. Yeah.
a few less shells. Now maybe you had to stay up late to get Mario Kart because your kids were super excited about it. Maybe not, but you had mentioned to me at the beginning of the show that you almost had a late night release.
Yes.
With your son. Like, what happened?
Yes. So as part of, just a little background, as part of the PlayStation Play at Home initiative, they're giving away 10 free games.
That's crazy.
Sony's just like, hey, here's 10 games, much like Microsoft is adding to the Game Pass, right? So they're giving away Subnautica, which
wow, nice.
My kids adore. They love it. They love water. They love seeing the fish and stuff. And it's pretty safe. It's just kind of like this collection sandbox area. And my computer cannot run it. No,
it is not to be on my system.
Not even close, right? We can watch YouTube videos, but can't play it on my computer. But Sony's releasing all these games later on today at a weird time. So it happened to be 11 o'clock at night that they would release these games. And my son was like, hey, can I stay up late and we can download this game together? I'm like, oh, bless his heart. That's amazing. Oh, no. No, but like it paused in my mind for a bit because like we were saying on this show, kind of like that midnight store release where you line up with your kid and get that new game. This is something that he would remember for a while, staying up late on a school night, no less, to download a video game. That's pretty cool. So it did click through my mind, but I'm like, you know what? You will be like overtired tomorrow. It'll be a complete write-off. I'll have to deal with the fallout of it. It's no, we'll do it tomorrow. So it was
Okay, let me pitch on this. So this is during the week. This is a school week.
Yeah.
Now, if it happened on a weekend, would that have maybe changed your mind?
I think so. I think it would have swayed me a little bit more. I think that would be easy enough for me to. It's really the next day. Any parent that has an overtired kid the next day, that's the worst of it. It's not like during that night, but it's the next day. So yeah, if it was on a weekend, I would be a little bit more towards yes. But
it's like, oh, bless your heart, that's amazing. I mean, no, of course not. But oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, way to think ahead, though, right? I think he's been listening to the podcast, so
yeah, we got to check their notes because I'm sure they're just like, okay, here's a weak spot, here's a inconsistency, here's a loophole. Yeah, I have to go through.
Maybe they work it back a little bit, right? So a couple hours like earlier, like, push for 9:30 next time. So
they'll listen to this episode and they'll say, okay, we can only do it on a weekend. So we know
right.
We know there's an in on the weekend. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So it was close, but not quite.
You're doing your best. Now, if you had let that happen, he might think you were the greatest dad.
That's true.
And the day that you do it, it'll definitely be a gaming dad victory. However, you are not this week's gaming dad victor, but we do have one. So you're disappointed you're not the gaming. Maybe next time, Jeff, but this week we do have a new Gaming Dad Victory of the Week.
Gaming Dad Victory of the Week. Each week we feature an exceptional gaming dad, and often their kids, who are doing fatherhood and gaming so well.
This week's Gaming Dad Victory of the Week, it was so cool, brought to us by Nintendo, of all folks. And Jeff, why don't you set it up for how this came across our radar? It was so awesome to see.
Yeah, just one day out of the blue, Nintendo, if you signed up for their newsletter, they usually send out a bunch of emails a week. And one was about just family gaming. So I clicked on it and scrolled down. And there is a picture of his dad and his son. The handle is Dads with Attitude. And it was just this interesting email about how people have managed to game with their family and what those situations are. And that's what we do here, is how we game with our kids, how we raise our kids, and how do the video games kind of fit into it all. So Dads with Attitude had a quote about Super Smash Brothers, and in the email it says, this is a favorite in his household because it allows his family to play together, nothing like some family competition. So I found that was great, and it's Smash Brothers, and I can totally relate. In our household, Smash Brothers definitely has its place, and it is much of a staple in the Nintendo Switch, so it was good to see that.
It is a dad being featured in an official Nintendo email. Nintendo is blasting out to people, and there it is, Dads with Attitude, talking about Smash Brothers and how he plays it with his family. Dads have arrived. He did it.
That's right. He carved us a path. We're there next. Look out for us.
So amazing. So we first see this email. It's about Smash Brothers, a game that we love and absolutely have recommended tons of time for gaming dads everywhere. Phenomenal choice for the family. Dads with Attitude, so it's somebody kind of focused on family and fatherhood and all the pitfalls and fun motions of it. Now, this led us to his Instagram account, which I subscribe to wholeheartedly and have been enjoying the content. So this is, if on Instagram you go to Dads with Attitude, you'll find him, and he's getting some notoriety, which is more than well deserved. This account is just fantastic. Yep. So much content about just fatherhood, marriage, having kids, a little bit of the gaming there that kind of sprinkled in. Like, it's been a phenomenal account. As a dad, you're going to get a lot of this humor. He's doing it right. So a couple that had stuck out to us was, firstly, the one that might have led to that Nintendo call out. So it's him with his great looking family kind of crowded around their Nintendo Joy-Cons, saying, this upcoming family day, like every other family day, we'll spend some quality time together, and in our house there's no better way to do that than playing with our Nintendo Switch system as a family, especially now that Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury game is out now. Go check it out.
Nice.
So love it. And just like, again, to see the family, to see it as a communal thing, bringing them together.
Yeah.
Fabulous. A couple other posts, he's playing the Mario Kart Live home circuit. So he's got that set up with his son. He's playing that one out there. It's just I picked up this one other story. It's him and his wife kind of chatting as if they're friends in college. Next thing you know, they got wedding rings on their family. All of a sudden this happened. Next thing you know, one kid pops up. Another kid pops up. Kids are screaming. Kids are jumping on dad. it's just, I'm telling you, if you go to his channel and watch this video, you're just nodding your head like, yep, that's the one. Yeah, he got it. He nailed it. It was so great to have that come across our email, to have him receive some deserved recognition from Nintendo. And otherwise, like, again, we highly recommend gaming dads who are listening, go and find his account on Instagram, Dads with Attitude. Great dad content, and more importantly for this week, he has won Gaming Dad Victory of the Week.
If you would like to be nominated or know somebody else deserving, please get a hold of us at our website, newdadgaming.com.
Now, listeners may recall that I had, through various degrees of argument, convinced Jeff to take a look at what I consider to be an incredibly dad-friendly game in Final Fantasy XII. A game that Jeff, to put it mildly, bounced off of horrifically at the time. And all of a sudden, I'm checking out our social media channel, and it's just flooded with Final Fantasy content. Jeff, what is happening?
Well, okay, this is your fault. This is all your fault.
I did it.
You did it. You made me. It was on sale that week. Again, it's like you put things out into the universe, and the universe answers you. And I bought Final Fantasy XII on the Switch, though. So I have it on the portable Switch. I am pretty far into the game. I know about this Sky Pirate that we've been talking about. So I have experienced...
Okay, sorry, I will pause you there. When you saw him, were you like, oh, that's the Sky Pirate Trevor?
Yes. It completely clued in, and it was like, okay, this is what Trevor's talking about. I get it. I have to get past this guy, and then it really clicks, right? Which it is. I am definitely into it. I am not bounced off it. I've played it pretty much every night. So I will say, though, there was a poll online, and it said, out of these Final Fantasy games, what's your favorite main cast of characters? And naturally, it was, from 10 to 15. Final Fantasy 12, for sure, voted that. But without my man, Minivan.
The minivan.
The minivan.
Oh.
I can't stand that character, and I think you've talked to him about him a little bit, but I completely agree with you. He was completely out of my party the first time I could switch out members. He was gone. He was just, no, you sit over there. So
you gone. Yeah, me too. I'm almost scared of it because I have so little intention to ever play him.
Right.
That I just assume he'll be so underleveled that if it is a classic Final Fantasy, well, now you have to use your entire party. It's like, darn it, Van, you're gonna die.
Yep. Oh, that's what it is, and I could care less if he does. He's just annoying to me. I love all the other characters, though. They've really kind of grown on me, especially a few of them. But I will say, just before we kind of move into the character stuff, I was really stressed out at one part of this game. And you didn't talk about this. You did not warn me.
Oh, no.
About...
I might have forgotten about it. You are farther than me now, which I also find hilarious.
Yeah, catch up. I mean, come on. It's when you choose... Okay, so when you get characters, if people don't know the game, you choose a job or a class for a character, right? So I kind of went with what they were pushing you to. So a bunch of characters come in with a sword and shield. I'm like, okay, you're a knight or whatever. So I follow with that. Not a problem. Then all of a sudden there's a second job that opens up that you can put towards your characters. I'm like, well, what combinations do I use now?
What's the right answer? Oh, no.
I only have so many points to spend, and now I have 2 job boards to spend. I can't do this. So I was stressed out. I was going online to see what the best combination is, because I don't know if this game is pretty old, maybe a little bit over a decade, maybe a little bit more, but I don't know if it's one of those old school games where you kind of can screw yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you pick the wrong job, in the end, it's going to get way harder, and you're not going to be able to win because you picked the wrong job. So I didn't know if that was one of these games. So I had to go online and search, and it's a very, very discussed topic where people have tons of combinations. So that stressed me out, man. You didn't warn me.
I forgot about the second job class thing. But even for the first job class, people kept showing up.
Yeah.
There was a natural impulse I had, but there also did seem to be some natural characteristics.
Yeah.
I mean, some felt obvious because they'd show up and they got a bow, and it's like, I guess you're an archer. But
That's
like,
right.
what am I supposed to do with? But there's kind of like red mage versus mage. I found the exact same thing as you. It's just funny. We took the same dad path. Right there. Because I went right to the forums. It's like, okay, what is the best class
Right.
for Pinello if I had
Yeah.
to choose it, or Ash? Like what, and people, these debates, man. It would be.
Yes.
It's like, well, clearly you got to consider the red mage knight combo. It's like, you're a fool if you think that's a smart idea. Like, oh my goodness, the heat in these comments. I don't know what to do. So it was, I'm right along with you.
Okay,
with that,
good.
Where it was wild, and I just don't have the stick to it and tenacity and time to make a wrong decision. Right? Like I can't afford to have my game be completely ruined because I messed up the combo. And you have to assume like some work much better than others.
Right. And they don't really introduce that into, like, they don't kind of give you any sort of background on what strengths you should be looking at. Like, you can look at the character stats, but you're like, I don't know. I kind of want haste all the time, so I guess I'm a time mage now. Okay. Oh wait, that was the wrong thing because they are strength based. Whatever. Anyway, so it was just.
Now, did you know that you can change it?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
I saw that too, and I did change a couple of my characters because yes, I didn't want to go down that path. So
yeah, I wanted to give you that out. So you've been in it for a while. You're further than me, which I think would probably I could assume your answer, but do you agree with my assessment that this is a good... So remove yourself for a second.
Okay.
Like, you like it. Okay, but you're a Final Fantasy fella.
Yep.
In the mind of other gaming dads, was it good advice for myself that Final Fantasy 12 is a good gaming dad game?
yes, absolutely. Again, I think it's more about once you get to a certain point in the story, it really opens up, and that Gambit battle system I hated at the first pick of this, but as a gaming dad, it is wonderful and very deep.
Oh, it's so good.
Like you could dig right into it, and with tons of options. But I have this thing on fast forward all the time.
Yep.
And my characters just go around, and it's kind of cool to see them act like you want them to without actually having to physically press the button. Like that's what you want to do anyway. So it's perfect. Mm-hmm. So yeah, dad recommend for sure. You have it right on the money.
Perfect.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Go buy it.
I know. Now, so the problem is you've clearly had it up on screen. So you've been, I don't know if you played on TV, and perhaps your kids walk by as you're playing it, or perhaps your wife walks by as you're playing it.
Uh-huh.
And there's one character in it that kind of poses a problem.
A little bit.
If you're to walk in and see it without context.
Yep.
So, and you probably know what character I'm talking about, don't you,
I
Jeff?
do. I do. It's Fran, isn't it?
It is Fran.
Okay.
The Playboy Bunny Fran.
That's right.
It's just like...
Seriously, though, she has such a great... I'm at the beginning of her character arc, and she really... I can't listen to her because of what she's wearing. I'm like, you would not wear this in a dungeon with monsters. There's no way. So I don't understand the game choices there and the game design behind it, because it...
Yeah. So to describe it for anybody who hasn't perhaps played the game, there is a character, Fran. She's this almost like bunny elf type of character. So tall, lean, and there's no kind of better way to say it. Just highly sexualized.
Very.
Highly sexualized.
Yeah.
So it looks like it just feels like it was no mistake that it was a bunny character as opposed to eagle or, giraffe. Like they clearly just went bunny, I think, to almost evoke the Playboy Bunny thing, and then it just happens to be a highly sexualized character, which is upsetting. So I had a lot of feelings about this in the sense that it's upsetting in how usually when a female character in games or cinemas or movies are going to be tough, it's very vapid, it's very shallow in a very bad way. It's just like, and what do you think, Susanna? I think it's time to man up. She loads a shotgun and it's like, okay. Yeah. So for you to be tough, you're just going to be a man. Right. And that's such like there's so much strength and power to women. Like that's foolish. Like it's such a lazy way to try to write that. Yep. So I don't mind that there's a femininity to characters, and I almost kind of appreciate that. And as you go through Fran's story, there's an entire backstory. There's some tragedy. Like there's a whole part to it. Yeah. And then she's just wearing this outfit. Like, so it's high. She has high heels on. She's basically wearing a thong.
Yes, she is.
The rest of it is basically just lingerie. And then she has the bunny ears, which perhaps in a different context wouldn't be a problem, but this, it's like, okay, so fine, you're a Playboy bunny, wonderful. And I've had some scenes where, you know, we're talking to one of the main protagonists or one of the main villains, and it's like, we've poisoned the well. Half the city has to die if any of us to survive. And then the camera pans, and all I see is her ass.
It's right
and
there.
It's like,
it's right. Yeah.
It's like, guys, this is a monumental scene for a massive consequences, and this, like, it's ruining it. And I'm not saying, like, this isn't to shame the body. It just feels like it is.
It's gratuitous.
Done.
Yeah.
Gratuitous. Thank you. That's a perfect way to say it. If it is not about anti-sexuality, it is about a gratuitous nature of it, and then it's in this game, and it's inescapable. Besides not using her as a character, but I tend to actually, like, because I liked her story and, like, everything else, I liked her as a character. So there's this conflict of, I don't care to be having this lingerie bunny on my screen as I'm playing with near my wife and in front of my kids, but at the same time I want to use the character because she's cool.
Yeah.
It's like, where are we going here? Like, what do we
Kids,
do?
look away. Just a sec. I need to beat this boss. Okay, just look away. Now you can look back. Yeah.
No, it's just a game, I swear.
Yeah. No, again, like, I don't get it. Like, even Tifa has a skirt on. Like, this one just doesn't have anything. So,
Tifa wasn't as, like, besides the silly juvenile proportions of Tifa, generally it wasn't as bad. And again, like, it was the one, she had, like, a certain strength to her, but like, she wasn't just overtly masculine or harsh. Some part, she probably is not exactly as strong as far as a character type, but it was like a 90s Japanese RPG. So, but you certainly see it in games. It's something to watch out for as gaming dads, because I guess what what I want to really embed within my sons is, you know, a respect and appreciation for women, and especially coming from a man's perspective, like, there's a lot to unpack there. And then our games, like, which, you know, we're big proponents of games. We love games. We want to play these things. We want to play them with our sons.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to get into, for instance, the MMO space,
right?
Man, I don't know. Forget it, because it's just like the dress and the wear is so gratuitous and nonsense often.
Yeah.
In certain titles, I don't know if that kind of happened in the latest Final Fantasy Online, if it tends to kind of lean in that direction.
It definitely has. It has the bunnies, so and dancing, and there's all sorts of emotes and stuff. So it can definitely go that way, especially if you're part of a huge group and team and go into a raid and you have lingerie people. But again, like, maybe it's because it's a person's choice that, I don't know. See, this could be a whole conversation, right? This is just kind of thrown in your face. And I realize that other people are playing an MMO and they're making those decisions, but maybe it's not needed there, but at least somebody, I don't know. See, somebody's choosing it, and then this is the designer choosing it for you. I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely a conversation to have before your kid plays a game. You should kind of look into that stuff, because, you know, it's just something that can affect them as they grow up. And
I suppose it's almost like a teaching moment in a way that if especially in kind of older media like this, where it's just, your word gratuitous was perfect. Like, that's the perfect way to say it. Like, it's like, this isn't good, son. Like, this is not how it should be represented. There's so much more depth in this type of, like, vapid nonsense, and this, you know, the male gaze, as opposed to, you know, a true character, and the, you know, the sea of difference between someone deciding to present themselves in a certain way as, like, a matter of comfort, which is wonderful, versus being objectified.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just a game, and it's a funny bunny character inside of a pew pew shoot 'em up magic game. So like, you don't want to take it too seriously, but it certainly it almost gets tiring.
Yeah.
After all this time, that it's just so gratuitous, and I care not to be a pretentious, like, wet blanket, that, like, for, like, shame, like, you, like, hide it all. Like, no, like guys, have some fun. There's, like, context. There's some certain contexts to it which are great. So be it. But in this case, where, you know, again, I'll overuse this word, gratuitous.
Yeah.
It's just a bit much. I was curious to hear if you had encountered that, and it seems like we're of the same mind.
Yeah, definitely. And it was, I don't play it on docked mode. I play it undocked, because it's just, it's just those camera angles. I'm like, come on, obviously you're doing it for a reason, and this isn't cool. So I play it undocked. So
gaming dads, play this game undocked, and get yourself ready for a conversation about being better men, as we try to be good dads. And I think that presents a good place to end it off here for the show. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you want to get a hold of us, if you have your own thoughts on those type of characters from generally in any type of game, if you have your own thoughts on Final Fantasy or Horizon 4, would love to hear from you. You can find us at our website, newdadgaming.com. You can find us on our social media, that is Instagram and Twitter at newdadgaming. Would love to hear a message, your own story that we could throw into the mix or feature you perhaps as a Gaming Dad Victory of the Week. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, any of the major podcasting services. If you enjoyed the show at all, we would really appreciate a rating and a comment on any of those platforms, as it helps out the show tremendously and helps us get out there to reach more dads to have awkward conversations about games with bunny characters.
Yes, it does.
Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old.
All right. See you next week.
All right, see you later.